I can't understand life without plants. I need them so near, very close. They are part of my life. They are my job. Look at this. Sedums grows everywhere with the minimum vegetable soil, and they share the space with other little neighbors. It's amazing how these plants can live with the minimum soil and with few nutrients. After left kids at school, every day I go for a walk with Brisa. She needs her toilet, and I start to work then. I look around, looking for the minimum detail that leave the moss, those sedums on the ground, a mushroom. Everything inspires me. I feel the landscape as my best backyard. I take my notes. I use my mobile as a camera, and I got amazed and surprised with every little expression of life I see in the forest. My moment. Here is where I let my brain take its time to put in order all the information taken. Every day I try to come here. The water flowing slowly by my side helps me to find my inner peace. Here is where most of my thoughts turn into inspirative ideas. Here, creativity flows like the same river. Dr. Masaru Emoto from Japan has an interesting theory about it. Then, with the idea in my mind, I go for further information at the public library of my house. Later, I take seat on my second office, where ideas become realities. Vegetable bubbles, mushroom lights, artistic vegetal walls that becomes magic places. I love to draw, take notes of everything, new ideas for new projects. Singular green roofs. We need vegetation like the air we breathe, but we're quick to reject it, out of sight, out of mind. We don't like bugs, we bow cutted flowers. We're running out of pure air, and fast. Swallowers on the wall. And even an exclusive handmade coral reef aquarium. What I do best: integrate landscape in a human environment. So, when the idea of phytokinetic took place in my mind, I asked my best teachers for advice. We met in a seriously brainstorm session. And finally I had my first sketch for it. That was it. Simple. Once I had the idea drawn in my brain, I knew who I had to visit. It was Alex Puig from Vivester. He was the person, he was my man. He's one of the most recognized landscape architects of the moment, and he's my neighbor. We know each other since I was 17. He has been my gardening reference for many years, and still today. So we met. I had the idea, and he had the space, the material, and the plans to make that the first prototype. Soon I met people who was really interested to participate. with this project. A lot of people has shared me to make it real. Equally significant is the educational importance of green, or indeed a whole range of colors, over black concrete and their role in combining the urban heat island effect. Excessive quantities of concrete and tar prevent organic material from breathing, which dissipates heat energy emanating from buildings around us. In other words, we need gardens to reduce these effects. A city that increases its green spaces, it also increases its ecological value. Phytokinetic has developed out of my own particular understanding of gardening, based on a passion for everyday landscapes, admiration for everything that flows, and a vital need to feel part of my environment. I maintain that if civilization can't get closer to nature, we're left with little choice but to bring nature here, to where we live. This is how I became a landscape artist. And as we live in a small town, another neighbor lent me his truck, and here we installed the first phytokinetic green roof. With this old truck, I took first data of watering, weight, grow patterns, proving materials for the foam, the frame, the waterproof layer, and which were the best species to be planted. Cities are full of unused roofs that could be turned into gardens. Roofs that are on the move all day long. Phytokinetic is a project that aims to turn the roofs of public transport into gardens throughout the world, patented on a worldwide scale, and it is already happening. In July 12th, Phytokinetic launched the first roof garden bus in the world. It also succeeded in reducing the inside temperature of the vehicle by 3.5 centigrade degrees in midsummer temperatures due to the high insulation capacity of the roof garden, which also means that it is a significant energy-saving mechanism. It is also important to note that the roof garden acts as a CO2 drain for that vehicle. Taking into account that the average useful surface area of an urban bus is 15 square meters, we only need to multiply this figure by the number of buses in the city. In a theoretical case of 1,000 vehicles, this would mean nothing less than 15,000 square meters of gardens moving around the city, helping to recycle urban air. Then I remembered that day in the forest. This roof needed to be light, to support dryness, be spectacular all days, and of course it had to be very safety. As a testing experiment, I decided not to water it, never. Just let the rain go down on it. And here you are the result, completely successful. Then I started to imagine what could be with a real bus. And this is how I met Jordi Sargatal, who had led me the first bus to make the first phytokinetic green roof in the world. The system itself is very practical. Firstly, I had to take the weight of the phytokinetic garden into account, making sure it complies with safety regulation and doesn't exceed the kilos per square meters that the vehicle structure is able to withstand in the event of sudden movements. To do this, I had used the best materials available on the market for roof gardens. It is essential that the roof is 100% waterproof and stays completely free of moisture, so I have used polyurea, which provides the roof with a lifelong seal. The polyurea has a maximum thickness of 1.5 millimeters, comes out at a temperature of over 80 degrees centigrade, and dries in 10 seconds. This means that we can start work straight away by positioning the perforated stainless steel grid used to drain off water that frames the roof, going round its whole perimeter. Fixing perforated bands throughout the interior surface prevents the planted material from moving in the event of breaking. These are placed at intervals of 30 centimeters throughout the cover. To support the rooting, I have replaced the organic substrate with hydroponic foam that is 10 times lighter and has greater moisturizing capacity. Sedum carpets, like the ones I saw in the forest, are placed on top of this as the main vegetation layer, which not only reduces moisture loss through sunlight, but also covers the roof completely. And on top of this, and depending on personal taste, plants are positioned everywhere. Finally, a lightweight and resistant mesh is tightly fixed to the inner perimeter and grid to ensure that nothing moves from its place. And in only a few weeks, this mesh will disappear beneath the vegetation, although it will still be functioning as the most important safety mechanism. How is watered? This is such a good question. So, by using water left over from the air-conditioned system, which instead of being extracted from the lower part of the bus, is extracted from the top of the bus, which is where the air-conditioned unit is situated. This means that the roof garden is watered continuously. The hotter it is, and the more water needed by the plants, the more often they will be watered, almost in summer. If the bus does not have air conditioned, washing the vehicle daily in the vehicle wash at the terminal will be sufficient. It is worth noting that automatic vehicle washers have programs that can operate without rollers and soap on the upper section of the vehicle. How often it should be watered will depend on the type of plants on the roof and, of course, the city's location. It's not the same London, LA, New York, Beijing, Amsterdam, Barcelona. Once all this has been put in action, imagination and creativity come into play. Different bus routes could be identified by types of plants on the buses, or consider the potential interest for brand sponsors that want to be connected directly with projects focusing on sustainability and urban ecology on a local or international level. Maybe a company will want to sponsor buses with petunias or roses, or even have its own logo made up of different plants on the bus roof. Rest assured that spectacle is guaranteed from the first floor. Lastly, one needs only to think of what an incredible pleasure it will be to travel inside a moving garden, the inevitable sense of being a living part of the landscape for a few minutes. Not everyone is lucky enough to come into a contact with nature as much as they should, but now nature is within our daily reach, enabling us to become part of it, even for just a short time, while going to work, home, to the cinema, or the countryside. If it's like this, the future seems a little better, much better in fact. My artistic point of view about life and my intense love to natural landscapes makes the perfect combination for what has become my daily occupation. Hi, my name is Marc, I'm 39 and I'm a landscape artist.
Vale. Ara. Andiamo.